Roller Coaster Tycoon is a very fun game and has been part of everyone's childhood. One particular part of Roller Coaster Tycoon has become a meme on the internet, and that is Mr. Bones' Ride. To put it simply, it's a ride that goes on an endless loop forever and ever and ever without any stop whatsoever. And this has created such an internet phenomenon of this silly little meme with this spooky little skeleton. But what if there was a dark side to this harmless meme? And what if it was more real than we could imagine? Well, in this story, we're gonna find out. So, sit back, relax, and hope you and pray to God you don't die in a roller coaster accident. Because today, we'll be reading the story of Mr. Bones' Wild Ride. So, anyone who's been on the /V board on 4chan probably knows about Mr. Bones' Wild Ride. But for those who don't, it was a ride someone made for Roller Coaster Tycoon. It was one of those really slow motor car rides, but with a twist. It had a 69.6 feet of track and a ride time of 70 real-time minutes, around 4 years in game time. In addition, there was those props of the skeleton holding out his top hat scattered around here and there, as if to mock the customers. Needless to say, there were a lot of passengers screaming, "I want to get off of Mr. Bones' Wild Ride." Now, here's where things get really good. Once the ride came to a stop, the passengers found themselves on a long path that took about 2 hours to traverse. Once they reached the end, they found themselves facing a sign that read, "Mr. Bones says, the ride never ends." The path led straight back to the entrance of Mr. Bones' Wild Ride. There was nowhere else to go. In other words, they were fucked. Needless to say, this gained a lot of popularity on /V, and people started making their own Mr. Bones' Wild Ride. I was one of them. I made a version with the ghost train ride. You know, the one that's usually a huge death trap. It doesn't last as long as the original, but it did have a twist. Near the end, it launched the cars into a small shed with a sign on the side that said, "Enjoy your stay." I killed about 20 people with that ride and laughed my ass up as they each went one by one to their graves. Flash forward to a few weeks, I was in Budapest Gardens on vacation. I was wandering around trying to decide what to ride. That's when I noticed a ride that haven't been there when the last time I visited. It was weird because it had never been advertised and there was nothing about it on the map. I figured, what the hell, and got online. Surprisingly, the line wasn't very long. I only waited for about 10 minutes to get on it. It was one of those motor car rides, which is kind of weird because they already had one elsewhere in the park. Why would they open up a second one? After buckling in, I looked up ahead and froze. There was a giant skeleton up ahead tipping a hat to me with a sign over his head. "No," I whispered. The sign read, "Mr. Bones' Wild Ride." I struggled with my restraints, but they wouldn't come up. I begged the employee controlling the light to help and that I had changed my mind, but he just ignored me. My car started moving. I screamed in terror. Up ahead, the track stretched on for what seemed like forever. "I want to get off of Mr. Bones' Wild Ride!"